is Kayson Thompson. My band is Guitar Patrol, and my parents, well, my grandparents, but I call them my parents because they raised me since I was 2 weeks. Um, Greg and Charlie Thompson, and took me in as a son, and those are my parents now. Life at Standing Rock was pretty fun. I liked it. Everybody else was happy, filled with joy. Every night you just hear the drums beating. That's the highlight, is hearing that. Waking up every morning, seeing the smoke, and where I camped was the Thomas Patrol camp, Sans Art.
Mm-hmm.
And my father, Greg Thompson, we were only able to go up there for the weekend, but that was a long weekend, and it was like the best experience I ever had. It's because I saw my best friends, my buddies, and all of them were all on horseback, and they told me to get on, so I hopped on, and everybody else was just enjoying it. And like then, like a couple months into it, when I heard about the dog attacks, and I didn't get to experience it, but I know a couple friends who did, and that was the hardest thing, is because seeing like women and children are getting bit by dogs, by the carriers and stuff. And it was really hard, but that was like one of the downs. There's not much downs in my stories. There's a lot of ups. And October rolls around. 3 weeks into the month, on the 27th of October, is when everything was going down. Like everybody was screaming, war hooping. Again, everybody told, get to the front lines, Horse Nation, go now. And all of us were going. All of us boys were all going, and we were running. We were just. Then a guy stopped us. He said, no, other way. And the back road 134. It was the backwater bridge, whatever you call it. That's where everybody was, and everybody started moving towards the front, the way front, the last stand camp. And it was heartbreaking to see people shot, pepper sprayed, hit with batons, and like we had enough of it, you know. And we planned this like 3 days earlier about the buffalo, and then our leader, our head person, looked at us, and he's like, "Should we get the buffalo?" And we all looked at him, and we nodded our head, and we headed out secretly so no one would see us. And all of us would circle around the buffalo. Some of us went from the back. We went from the front to block the gate, but the buffaloes, my horse was getting nervous, and my buddy's horse was getting nervous, and the ground was shaking. And it's quite an experience, and we had to move. And our leader, he was like that. It's just time to get out of the way, and he did. And we saw those buffalo just run through, one by one. Then, when the last buffalo went out, and we followed. Like it was amazing, because I wouldn't be able to experience that if I wasn't up there for that long a period. And that was like the best feeling I've ever heard, is that hearing my people scream, and it was amazing. It was like it was heartbreaking, because seeing them get shot, pepper sprayed, but that brought joy to my heart, just seeing how people just being happy, we're hoping when we saw the buffalo come through. And then later that day, then we didn't hear our leader call us back, because we were supposed to turn him around and leave him again. But he didn't hear us, and I didn't hear him. And we went all the way around that hill, and that hill today is nicknamed Buffalo Hill, just because of that very reason. And it was quite an experience that day too, is because people would think like, oh, you guys brought the buffalo, you guys are heroes. And I don't picture myself as a hero. I picture myself as another person, just doing what I like to do. And then later that day, I got arrested. I got shot off my horse. When they picked me up, I don't know how to do a hand. Getting arrested and stuff. And one of the mercenaries kicked me in the ribs. And one of them tried to hit me with the end of his gun, but I stopped him. And then when we got arrested, we just had our handcuffs were just tight, and we couldn't get out. We couldn't move or anything. And when they picked us up, they grabbed the end of the handcuffs and they pulled us up all the way. And then when we got there to the police station, facility, whatever you call it, there's a bunch. When I went in there, there's a bunch of people, dog cages all over the place, and there's people already in there, and they had our numbers on their arms. It was like a concentration camp. You know what I mean? It's 167. That's what they wrote on me. The best one is 168, and it was hard to see people in dog cages too. It's because, and we were minors. We didn't know what to do. And
how old are you?
I'm 16. And like my mother, she was panicking. She didn't know where I was that day. She thought they killed me and they just left me. And then like I told them they're trying to contact someone who can come pick me up and stuff. And I said my auntie's house. And she where's that? It's a Cannonball in North Dakota. And she's like, and she asked for numbers. So I gave her a number and gave her the name. And then later that night they came and picked us up. And that was like the hardest day I had to live because my buddies were worried, and my buddy was right beside me. He got arrested with me, and his name was Storm. And we were making jokes in the van. He said, "Told you we were gonna meet up again." I was like, "You were right. And he said, "Yeah, I was, huh?" He said, "Yeah." And we started messing around with each other, and police tried to break us up, and we couldn't because we were that close. And I loved staying up in Standing Rock. It was the best experience, and hopefully there's another camp like that one. And like just hearing drums, and like every time I hear a drum, I always think back to camp. It's because that opened my heart more, and I learned about my culture more.
Yeah.
And like then like November rolls around, and like on the backwater bridge, when everybody was getting hit with water cannons, I went back home. Took the weekend, or went back for the weekend. And once I saw that live feed of the backwater bridge going down, and I said, "No, my family's up there." So I wasn't thinking at that time, and I was like, I wanted to go see my brother too. And I went back up there, and everybody was just cold, sick, shaking. Then I heard about people getting shot in eyes, getting shot in heads, and seeing a woman, the crush grenade or whatever went off and burned her all the way down to her bone, and like everybody was in total panic and didn't know what to do, and like everybody was just like one shot after the other. Those cops were just ruthless against us. And now you don't see it today, like what today's riots are going around, like Charlottesville. They didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing against their own people. They did it against us because we were Native American. They were, and it was like so hard to believe that. Charlottesville is different. A lot of people, like white supremacists and whatnot, it's just like standing up against the cops, and the cops just standing there just letting them beat them. It didn't make sense, and that's what like got me mad, is because they were ruthless against us. Why aren't you guys ruthless against them too? It's like picking sides, and like today, it's hard living Native American because if you go to cities and stuff, people look at you weird. They look at you like you're like this different person, that you came from like somewhere else.
Exotic.
Yeah, and like we were here first. Then they rode on the ship over here, and they started just taking over here. Then like, and I rode. Then like 8 months rolled around, and I was like, Rochetti's last stand, and I was on top of the hill, but it was pretty funny just seeing the cops slip and slide and trying to catch people. stood so bad. It was so funny because when he got up, you can just see just hit like his pant rip because he had like a sharp ice or whatever. It was really funny, and then me and my buddies were like, just get out of here, just go. And like we just headed out from there. And that was my life at camp, just serving my people. And they call me Young Ichita, warrior, and that's what like I've been living up to my name. It's because a lot of people will look up to me. Most kids today look up to me because of what I did up there, and my family is proud of me. And like I'm just it's a pleasure to be here, like and today, and like being happy and helping people. That's what I like about most. And that concludes my story at Standing Rock.
Well, yeah, I have a couple of follow-up questions because I mean, you said a lot of great things. When you got arrested by the mercenaries, did they read any Miranda rights to you or whatnot?
They didn't read nothing.
Mm.
They just picked us up and just threw us in a van,
Mm.
and they didn't say nothing to us, and they were just pushing us around, like we're just like how do I put this, like we're different people than they are.
Mm-hmm.
They treated us different. Like it's been like that for a long time.
Mm.
And they didn't do anything, just beat us around and stuff. It's a hard thing.
And have you been back to Buffalo Hill since Standing Rock?
I drove by the camp, and driving by the camp was just heartbreaking because what we all built up together was just gone, but then just vanished. And I drove by the hill and saw an eagle on top of the hill circling around it, and that was a sign. I was like to my dad, I was like, Dad, he said, what? I said, can I have some tobacco? He said, why? Eagle on top of the hill. He said, okay. And I just sprinkled out tobacco on that road.
Mm-hmm.
And then when my dad went up, like last week, there was a bunch of eagles just circling around them. The eagles were trying to tell my dad something, and he knew it too. He didn't tell me anything. He just told me about the eagles. And that's what he's been telling me about ever since.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's highlighted.
What do you think the eagles mean?
Sacred. Like our ancestors are looking out for us,
Mm-hmm.
telling us like where our marking was at, and like they're just circling the camp too. Rosebud, Rochetti, Sacred Stone. They're just circling around that area, and I liked it because eagles are protecting what's theirs, and that's what I like is seeing eagles like that
Mm-hmm.
every time. That's what warms my heart.
And what did sprinkling the tobacco symbolize?
Praying.
Praying. Okay.
Okay, so let's talk. Let's talk about the day that you brought the buffalo again. Partly because we can hear it better now.
Okay.
But also talk a little bit about sort of what you see reflected out there about the story, and then what you know you did. What have you seen people say about it now, and why is it important for them to know how this came about?
Yeah, like, I meet a lot of water protectors and stuff. And they asked if I was up there. I said, yeah. And they said, what camp? I said, I was with the Horse Nation. I was camping with them. And he was like, they were like, really? And I said, yeah, we're the ones that herded the buffalo. And they were like, their eyes got big and they were amazed on how young I was. And there's not much people that can do that. And that time, like at that moment when we were bringing the buffalo, it was so beautiful. Running beside them, I was leaning on the side of my horse, just petting that buffalo, and I was just petting him, and he was okay with it. Then I got up a little closer to him, and I was playing with his horn. Then when we went around that hill, you can see this plane just right above me. It's trying to scare off the buffalo. And you see the helicopter doing the exact same thing. Then we heard gunshots. Boom, boom, boom. 3 gunshots from 3 different spots. And I saw a buffalo go down, one after the other. 3 buffalo were dead.
So they were killing the buffalo.
Yeah, they're trying to scare them off, but they hit them.
With live ammunition, it wasn't rubber bullets.
Live ammunition. Yeah. It was, and people were People were crying, because that was the hardest thing ever seen. Is my experience as a young guy. Seeing buffalo just getting taken out like that. That was our brother. That was our brother and sisters that were just getting killed like that. And like people say buffalo, and I just picture my ancestors just running with us, showing us the way of being a warrior, being Lakota. And then after that day, I was just high on my hills, being happy all the time, just picturing a lot of people and seeing a lot of people just have their eyes just like brighten and seeing their smile on their face. And that's what made my days too, is seeing people happy instead of being angry, sad, and being like frustrated with people. All you gotta do is bring good energy, and that good energy will come off you into that person, and that person will be happy because you helped him stop being mad at people, and you opened his eyes more to the situation than in like hating cops all the time. And like it was the best thing to see people just happy. Like what we would do is to bring our horses right around, and we rode around through the river. And the horses were scared at first, and when the first horse did it, and then the second, third, fourth, it was just nonstop. And it was nice because the water felt good, of course. It was a hot day. And I liked it. It's because swimming with a horse. I never did that before. And I experienced it. And that's what I like about most is like learning the way of a horse. So my dad taught me at the age of 10 until now. And I know a lot, but you don't become a pro at that very instant. It takes a long time and hard work and dedication, and the bonds you make with horses. And that was the most incredible thing is working with a horse. It's because, like most people, like kids in like today's society, committing suicide because they didn't have no parents growing up, they had their grandparents. And what I picture took, like, I'm just giving like a thing, like, out today's like world, like if you're ever down or anything, and you can just grab and ask somebody if they can ride a horse or whatever. That's like a medicine, because a horse is laying off medicine on that person and on itself. It's because it will get their mind cleared. Their mind cleared and their mind good, their mind set. And that's what we did. We took 12 kids with us out for a ride. And after all that, they quit being mad. They quit. They just stopped being mad at the world and just started facing what their reality is. And that's what I like, is just seeing kids' eyes brighten up and stuff. And like we've seen their posts on Facebook and whatnot, and talking about suicide, doing drugs, like what like people today do, like that kind of drug, and that's like, so that's not good. And I told my buddy, I said, hey, we gotta go get these kids out, and we gotta get them like ready. We gotta open up their eyes to what we're doing for our people. Teach them about our culture, because they didn't know nothing about the culture. All this, like, they didn't, like, kids like we're like on the pond. They don't know what tribe, what band they are. They just say what tribe they're from. And that's the sad part, is because they should learn about their band and where they come from. What's their traditional roots are coming from. And yeah, that's.
What difference has knowing and then knowing more about your culture, what has it done for you as a human?
It like singing, like that's what opened my heart more. It's listening to the words and start picking it up. And it doesn't come easy just picking it up in one try. You gotta take a lot of tries just to get it right. And like people like speak to me and tell me about what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing right, and that's what like I fix my mistakes. And we do this ride in December. It's called a Bigfoot ride, and we ride 2 weeks for our ancestors during the winter. And I ride bareback, traditional. It's because I feel the pain of my ancestors. And a lot of people, like kids, like my age and stuff, like are picking up that vibe too. It's because, like, one of my good buddies, his name's Jesse, and he was the first one to ever teach me about being being traditional. And like then I started picking up on the ride. Very first year I went, I was scared. I didn't know what to do. And then at the end of that 2 weeks, I was happy. It's because I was riding for my ancestors. My ancestors liked it. And there's good and bad days. Like blizzard one day, sunny the next. And we rode through that day in and day out. It was fun. I just have to admit, it's just fun. Like kids, I see little kids riding on ponies, ripping through the snow. And that's just what like pictures in my heart is little kids ripping through the snow.
Mm-hmm.
That was really fun. That was really funny because little ponies just bouncing all over the place. Kids just going like that. One kid, he was like, "I'm a champion." And he just fell off his horse and he's like, "Never mind." I was like, "Oh, okay." And yeah, that's what like made me open my heart to being more traditional than anything else. So my dad, he taught me to be wise. He taught me to help kids that are down, and that's what I've been doing ever since, is helping kids.
And while you were at Standing Rock, you talk a lot about getting in touch with your culture and what it means to be Lakota. How important were the elders, the people that have gotten up there in age, in passing down that knowledge to you?
It was a big honor. It's because elders look at you, and that's a good thing. And like, it's like this lady, she sent me up with the elders to speak with them, to smoke the chinubu with them, and that's what I did. And I've been learning from their knowledge and from my dad's knowledge and from my mother's knowledge, and that's what I've been doing ever since, is learning from them, picking it up day by day. I'm trying to learn Lakota, speak it. I can understand it a little bit, but I'm just trying to speak it more, be a fluent speaker, and understand it more too. And that's what it means to be like Lakota, is standing up for what's right, standing up for people, protecting women, children, elders. Waking up every day thinking Takashla for a beautiful day that you're going to have. And that's what being Lakota is all about, is praying, doing what you love to do, and yeah, so on and so forth.
What was a typical day like for you?
At Osheti?
Mm-hmm.
It was just checking, like riding a horse all day. It was, and after like a little bit, like when we always ride at 7 o'clock in the morning. And when it comes around noon, we give them a break, 2 hour break, and we give people rides on horses. That's what I like.
Can you say, just say that for me again? Just start by saying, or just say the whole name of the camp for me. Just say.
At Osheti Shakoan, we would like ride our horses from dawn until dusk. That's how it was. And that's what we like, is like at first when I started riding bareback again, I got sore. I couldn't walk.
Mm-hmm.
But then a week went by and I started getting used to it and used to it. And every time I get on, I just wasn't affected by it. Like you have my balance. And like once you ride a horse and stuff, and bareback, once you get that balance, it's fun. It's all right. You can zip around and not worry about falling off. You can lose your balance too, but it always comes back to you.
Are a lot of your friends that are your age also so invested in the culture and trying to get back to doing things traditional and
Yeah.
learning?
My friends, most of them are from Sisseton, Crow Creek, and they started a horse program down there for kids, and they're teaching them about culture and what it means to be a horse warrior, and that's what they picked up.
And so you were at the camp for 8 months, you said?
Yeah.
And so what is it like now being back in school? How was the transition?
Like people try to treat me different because I went up there, but I didn't let it affect me.
Mm-hmm.
I am who I am. Doesn't matter if you're wasn't up there or not, or like if you're up there or not, and it doesn't really matter. Well, at least I can say I did stuff for my people. Where were you guys?
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of things do folks say? What is it like?
I was like they like mock me. It's like, oh, you're up at no Dapo, and like I was like, so I was like, at least I was up there. Where were you?
Mm-hmm.
And they would just be quiet and walk away. And that's what that's what my dad told me is people would try to treat you different in school because you went up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't care. I said, I am who I am. It doesn't really matter if that person tried to treat me different or not.
So most people are treating you negatively?
Yeah, trying to put me down.
Mm-hmm.
But I just stand tall and just let the words don't affect me. Actions do. And the words that people say, I really don't care. Like people would try to fight, and I just walk away. Because I'm not that type of person.
Wow. I mean, is there anything else that you'd like for people to know before we wrap this up?
Stay humble. Learn your traditional roots. Learn your culture. Learn where you came from. That's what I gotta say. My name is Kayson Thompson. I'm from the Cheyenne River Indian Reservation. I'm 16, and my band is the Thompson Patrol.
Tell us about. Let's start with the day that you were Tokala, that you went out and brought the buffalo, and how did that come about?
Well, like one of my best friends, he had a dream about running the buffalo, and like I thought like yesterday, so 3 days before it happened, he told us that if anything went down, if our people started getting hurt, even more, then we're gonna bring the buffalo through. And it was that good day where like he told us to stay back at the 134 back road, and we didn't want to, and we went with him. All of us started running, and we all ran up there as fast as we can, and we seen people just hearing this concussion grenades go off, hearing a bunch of like rubber bullets and beanbags going off, and the horses didn't get scared. They just stood there and watched. Every time they heard a shot or anything, they just stood there and didn't do nothing. And then when we were sitting there for we're just watching our people, one of our buddies went up and he tried to control the situation, then he got hit off his horse. And concussion grenade went off, and that horse was just stunned. It was dazed, he couldn't move. And then we turned him around, and all of us started running. All of us we went with the plan. Our leader, he told us, Buffalo Run, and we all nodded yes, and we all went. When we brought them, and then the leader and one of my buddies stayed back. I was it was me and two girls that were leading the buffalo, and we're running around and trying to get them, and we saw a Humvee come out, and we saw a sniper on top of that Humvee, and you just hear those shots going off, like boom, 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 and you see 2-3 buffaloes go down. and it was hard seeing like that. It was like our ancestors running with us. That's what it felt like because all the energy came from the buffalo and onto us. And then like when we came around that hill and we tried to get out of there, the guys came out and tried to shoot us, and those two girls were about to get hit, and I stood right in front of them and I took that hit and they got hit off. Then when they arrested us, they one of the mercenaries kicked me in the ribs because I didn't know how to get it like sitting like getting arrested or whatever. And they took us and they grabbed us like they were just grabbing us, just manhandling us, is like just like brute force by them. I can feel it by their brute force is just dragging us up like that. And that's what hurt the most is just that is those guys didn't even care about us. But like out in Charlottesville, they're not like that. They just sit back and let the beating or let the people beat them. And it's very odd. Then after we got arrested, they wrote our numbers 167 on our arms, and like we all had different numbers like 167, 168, 169. Like then they put us in the van. And I looked to my side. I looked at that Storm, is it?
And who's that?
One of my buddies that rode with us.
What's his name?
Storm. And Storm looked at me and he's like, Kayson, I was like, yeah. I said, told you we'd meet up again. And he's like, so how'd you get arrested? We talked and how we got arrested, and then they took us all the way out to Morton County jail. And they took us to the garage, and they had people lined up. They're trying to beat people for standing like incorrectly, and like we seen all these guys in dog cages, man. That hurt the most. Seeing them in dog cages just like hurt me the most. Is seeing like people were basically getting treated like dogs. And
So were they able to stand up? Like what did the cage look like? How big was
it
it?
was like a kennel.
So people were sitting down
Yeah.
in them.
It was hard to see, but it's okay. But I mean, like, it's like not okay, but let's see. Like when after that everything, then like the lieutenant took us juveniles because they put us in dog cages as well. Took us juveniles to his office and had him call our parents, and like I didn't even know my own auntie's number or anything, so I told them to search him up, and they did, and that's how I got free. And like my charges were engaging in riot, starting a fire at a riot or whatever, and endanger the wildlife.
Ironic.
So they charged you with endangering wildlife when they shot the 3 buffalo and killed them
Yeah,
themselves.
they blamed it on us. Then after that, after everything happened, I couldn't sleep for 3 days. So every time I slept, those nightmares came and hit me hard. I didn't like it. And after all that happened, and like the worst thing that could ever happen is see my family getting shot right in front of me. Those are one of my dreams that I've been having ever since, and that's been scaring me. So I can't sleep like most of the nights. And when I started going, like getting back together and stuff, then 4 days went by. I was silent. Didn't know what to say. Didn't know what to think. And like all the other boys were saying, "You alright? You okay?" And I said, "No, I'm not okay. Just not feeling well." And like, then when they pushed us, then they started building the barricade. Saw the crane. Everything's working on that bridge.
What bridge is that?
It was Backbridge, the one access road to 134. And it was hard just staying there. I wanted to go home, but then again, I wanted to stay. Then my dad, he talked to me. We went on a good 4 hour long conversation. That's basically me getting chewed out and giving a lecture. That's basically our conversation. And but every one of those lectures, I listen to him and I pay attention to him. And he gives really good advice, and I take that advice and use it to my advantage. Most kids my age don't do that.
What was he lecturing you about?
Well, it was a good lecture. It wasn't bad. He was giving me like good job on saving those girls and he taking that bullet for them. And saying, yeah, those are my people. I'd do anything for them.
And was that a rubber bullet?
Yeah.
And where did you get hit?
Starting right in the chest. Just right here. And I had a bruise right here for about a week. Then it just went down slowly. Then after all that happened, then camp grew bigger even more again.
And tell us the date. Do you remember the date of this?
It started 4 days after the October 27th. Like, was it November 1st or something like that?
Okay, yeah. So October 27th, you mean the dog attacks on October 27th?
Oh, no, runner taking out the camp, the past stand camp away in front.
Oh, when they put it way in front and then they bulldozed the camp. Okay.
And way back in like September, like then heard about the dog attacks. Our leader and one of our buddies was there too, and the dogs were attacking the horses. And then like seeing them children skin bit by dogs that hurt. Those guys were the dog handlers didn't even care about if the kids got hurt or not. They really didn't give anything. Like they didn't care. They didn't even cry or anything. And there was this lady who had a dog, and that dog, she just let go of the dog, and the dog just started going at them. And I was back at camp. I didn't even know that was going on. I didn't even know because I woke up late and I didn't even know that the march was going in. I heard their bulldoze and everything. All of us boys went up there and all the guys were coming back. They said, "Oh, we missed it." And we're all sad and one of my buddies, "We gotta redeem ourselves." And what do you mean by redeeming yourselves? We gotta go chase these guys down. I said, "Yeah." I said, "Might as well." And we all chased them down and see where they're all going to. And I was like, you ever seen that music video of Prolific the Rappers? Like that music video? Where they're all painting like the bulldozers, or spray painting bulldozers and stuff, blades. Well, all of us guys, they called us there. And all of us went. It's cool, because there's about 50 of us horse riders there. All split into groups. We was with our leader, and the rest were just doing their thing. And all of us just start heading out over the hill. Start going and going for about a good 5 miles, and we started doing our thing. And we all got done, and after that day, it was good. Felt good, and I liked it. All of us was liked it.
Tell me about being when you got to camp, and how quickly, like, where did you camp at first, and how quickly did you become part of the Horse Nation?
When we went up there first, it was the weekend, of course, long weekend. And then we went on to.
And what do you mean by that when you say a long weekend?
We stayed there for 8 months. When
Do
we
you
went
remember the
again,
day you went?
It was August 28th.
Were you supposed to be heading back to school?
Yeah, I was supposed to. Then my dad said, "You want to take a break?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, and I might as well just take a break and start learning more about my culture because that was an important history lesson up there rather than learning it at school. And then after everything, then I was like, then I saw my good friends riding horses and stuff, and I was like, "Hey, I said, I'll hop on a horse with you guys." And he said, "All right." And all of us boys riding around every day. And we went to what was it? We went to oh yeah, we met up with the guys from Crow Creek. And went up with the leaders, and all of us boys collided together, and it was just a big bunch of horse nations just riding through camp every day. Mostly like everybody liked that. Elders were cheering us on. War hooping, saying Mini Wachoni, and that's how quickly I adapted to horse nations. Let me hop on a horse and I rode with it.
Had you been on a horse a lot before that?
Yeah.
Was it easy? Did it take a while?
It took a lot. It took a while just to get used to again. Riding bareback because I lost my balance and I got it back.
So one of the things that you mentioned that we wanted to go back to was the after you were so you were arrested and you said the charges were they felony charges? Do you know?
Yeah, felony charges.
Okay, and tell me your experience with the legal system. What did you have to do? What do you remember about it? And what happened to your charges?
We went to the UN. The United Nations wanted to talk to us, and we went with them up to the on top of the hill, the media hill, and we talked to them in the inside, and all of us were speaking our stories and stuff, and like it was hard, like talking about it, because all of us were trying to like stay quiet the whole time and not talk, and then our leader spoke up, and the UN, he said, "All right, I got everything down for you guys' story," and he said, "Thank you guys for doing what you guys are doing, and hopefully we see you guys." And we're like, "Yeah." And we're then all of us just start heading out, start going, and he said he wanted to talk to me, and well, because I got arrested, and he's like, "How'd you get arrested?" And it's like, I said I took a rubber bullet for two girls that was trying to. I said guys were aiming for it. And I said, "Oh, okay." And he just wrote that down, and then like later that month he went to court with my story, and the judge dropped every single one of my charges. And if it didn't drop, then I would have got 3 years in juvenile facility.
How did it feel to tell your story to the UN?
It was hard at first, and I started getting used to it. And then I started adapting to it. Like, started talking more and more each day.
Does it help? Because this is one of the big questions I think all water protectors and but you've had one of the worst experiences that happened there. But do you think it helps to tell your story because whether we use the word healing, but what you need to do so that you don't have nightmares,
yeah.
Or like how you're adjusting and the sort of how you feel, because like what would be the advice, like what should we do with gatherings or do honorings help, like what was it going to help you to feel strong more often than
sweat.
Okay, so can you explain what that is for people? Or what it means to you?
I really don't go to sweat that much. I've been trying to, but I can't stand the heat. And
Really hard.
I really can't explain what the sweat is. It's just know what it is, what it's like.
But it's a ceremony.
Yeah, it's a ceremony of yeah.
So have you been going? Or
Not recently.
Would you like? Does that help you?
Yeah, it helps me. I just haven't been there. Not recently though. Like for like the past 2 months, I haven't went.
So, I know. So you rode horses pretty much every day, all day.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you, what you did. Is there anything else around camp that you did with regularity? I mean, it sounds like some people chop wood or some people did this and that, but you were pretty much.
No, I helped my dad with wood chopping. He gave me a chainsaw to use it, and I did. And chopped everything, chopped my own wood, and did everything for him.
What did you like best about being in camp?
Hearing the drums, hearing the singing, just waking up every morning and seeing the smoke go over our heads. That's what I like the most. This the camp became a real eye opener to a lot of people all over New Zealand, like Australia, Europe, Asia. It's a real eye opener to people.
Did you meet a lot of people?
Yeah, but I forget many names. I'm not just that type of person.
Yeah. Where did you eat?
I ate at my dad's camp.
And tell me your dad's camp.
Itasacho camp.
So how often did you get to take a shower and do that kind of stuff? And did that matter? How did you take care of yourself in that way?
Like every 2 days.
Where'd you do it?
They open up like showers, like Cannonball, and down by the marina. Where they open it up at.
So we talked a little bit about this before, but is this something? What do you want to see now, and or what do we need to learn from it, and how do we need to do things differently?
Oh, there's a lot of people standing up for what's right now. They should have started doing it before Oshiti started, but they did it after. That's a good thing too. Like all over the nation, all over America, people are standing up against pipelines. And like standing up for like Flint, Michigan, for water drought. And that's like the big eye opener for people around America too. It's because people are standing up for what's right. And the president now is just turning the other chin and letting anybody just do like the white supremacists or whatever, do what they want. And I read this on a page for news, and they're letting them use militarized police now.
What are the things that you keep with you, or are there things that you try to do every day that are in the spirit of Standing Rock?
Horses.
Tell us about that.
Well, I like riding horses a lot at home, and I have my bridle from up there that I smudged every day. I had my feather on it too still. I smudged it every day.
And what do horses do for you, and what have you seen them do for people?
They do for me, they heal me. They get my mind cleared. And that's the same exact thing that does to other people too. It's like medicine. Horses are medicine. They help you a lot. what I got. That's what I learned from it.
Does riding horses help better than the sweat has?
Yeah. Helped me a lot more actually. Cleared my mind. And just having fun with the horses. Bonding with them.
Have your friends been experiencing some similar nightmares that you have had?
Only a couple of us. But they got through it. I still have to get through it.
And what exactly did they do to get through it?
Horses. Basically horses.
Doctor prescribed horses.
Yeah. They should have a new thing like that.
If there was another opportunity to be involved in a resistance movement like Oshadi, would you want to be a part of it again?
Oh yes, for sure.
What are you thinking about? So is it made you more aware and conscious
Yeah.
of news?
Yeah.
Because you brought up a lot of things that are going on right now.
Yeah.
You can see how they're connected. What do you know about the KXL pipeline?
I didn't go to Nebraska. I was down in Oklahoma by then. And yeah.
The fight, as they say, is still on. And where do you tell me where you live right now?
In LaPlante, South Dakota.
Okay. And Cheyenne River, because in LaPlante's
Yeah.
Cheyenne River Reservation, Sioux Tribe, and it's Chairman Fraser who's continuing the fight to actually stop the oil in the pipeline, even though it's flowing.
Yeah.
Do you support that?
Yeah.
And that's something you're gonna be active about.
Yep.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add?
Seeing now that they have approvals to use militarization and militarized police, does that make you afraid to be active, or does that make you feel like you have to be even more active?
I have to stand up for what's right. That's what you gotta do. You can't sit back and just sit there and like you're sitting there, oh, my life is, I'm bored. And go do what we're doing, standing up for what's right, and stand up against people who are against us, against the pipeline.